I'm Nathan Jones. Today I'm taking you all along with me out west. We're going after Merriam turkeys. After which, we'll head further north. You're going to climb right in the tree stand with me in Canada at Lane Lake Outfitters pursuing whitetail deer. As you're going to see on the turkey portion of the hunt, it's not always just setting up, throwing some calls out, and then getting ready for your shot. At times, turkey hunting is a lot of work. And then after hunting whitetails with me in the cold, I'm sure it's going to give all of you a new perspective on what it takes to slam a good one with a bow in the far north. I'm glad you chose to go hunting with us today. This is Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes. Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Dead Downwind. At Dead Downwind, 99% just isn't good enough. Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. Height Point Broadheads, hunt with the best. And Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. And also by these other great companies: Kicking Bear One-on-One, Mossback Game Calls, Copper John, Doinker Stabilizers, Lone Wolf Tree Stands, Women Hunters, and Chateau Berry.
That is Wild Extreme. Yes!
Where do hunters fail? Clothing preparation. Dead Downwind introduces the only 3-step antimicrobial process for your clothing. E1 detergent cleans clothing to a submicrobial level. E2 dryer sheets encapsulates with an antimicrobial barrier. E3 field spray, your last line of defense against odor-causing agents. Dead Downwind is easy as E1, E2, E3. Contact an outdoor dealer near you or log on to deaddownwind.com.
One thing that turkeys have taught me is that just when you think you've got them figured out and practically in the bag, you'd better think again.
We've got 2 birds. I just heard one drum. They're coming back. We were running these canyons. We couldn't hear a bird gobble, and it just overcast. The temperatures probably dropped 25 degrees. Guys, those birds, they're just strutting right there. They've got a lot of hens. We didn't see hens with them at first, and they've got hens, and the hens are just, there's an old logging road right there. They're just feeding away. So this right now is run and gun time. We're packing up the equipment, and we're going to get in front of some birds.
I love hunting the West for turkeys, and the Black Hills that lay in both Wyoming and South Dakota hold a special place in my heart. Their rugged beauty is reward all on its own. But when you can throw a hardcore hunt in the mix, it makes it just that much better.
Well, I thought for just a little bit I had those hens turned back. They came back 20 yards maybe this way, but they're definitely feeding away. We've got to, as soon as they get out of here, drop down, get in front of these birds, because they've pretty much decided they're going to feed that way. And that big old strutter, he's not leaving them. And but the deal is, he saw her behind him. I can't jump out to break anything down, so we're going to have to wait till he gets out of sight. Okay, there he goes. He's walking away. As soon as he walks away, it's going to be a mad dash to get things broke down and get in front of them, because They are feeding right along
When
there.
the longbeards are henned up, you have to take the game to them. During this time, no matter how great a caller you are, they just aren't going to respond.
I can see a fan way down in there.
The tactic I was using on this hunt was to hammer hard, get in front of this flock, and hope that my Hazel Creek decoys would attract the attention of this monster bird and lure him to within striking distance of my marten bow. And finally, my persistence paid off. My heart was pounding, and this time it wasn't from running the hills, but rather because I now had this monster bird's full attention. We had chased this flock for more than a mile that morning, trying to stay out of sight, and all the while trying to predict what direction the feeding flock would move in, so that we could get in front of them, pop up our double bull, set up the decoys, and hope for the best.
He sees our decoys. I think it's going to be game on.
This setup was number 6, and it was looking like it was about to be lucky number 6.
Here right in front of our blind is a great bird, and maybe one of the nicest birds I've ever killed. I don't know. He's an old bird. It is now time to step out there and get my hands on that bird, because that is a nice bird, guys. And what a nice bird. My goodness. Guys, this is an old bird. For Merriam, he's got long spurs. These birds are just beautiful, just gorgeous birds. And this is a big bird, and I couldn't be prouder of this. And like I told you guys at the beginning of this hunt, this was going to be wild extremes. I thought it was going to rain on us. Actually, it started out, it was overcast, and we had to run and gun in the, we're in the Black Hills, and this is rough, ruthless country. And duked it out. This bird made us work for it. Thomas was the one on this hunt that sold the deal. This big old bird come in to work him over. He saw him, we had him set up kind of courting Angelina here. And these Hazel Creek decoys this year has made such a difference in our success in the field. This is going to be a hunt I will remember forever, because this is a very special bird. This is a very special hunt, and I want to thank everybody out there for just going hunting with us week after week, because we do it for the love of the game, and we enjoy having all of you guys just supporting us and being there every week.
New from Double Bull Blinds, the Matrix 360 with patented surround sight technology. The only blind offering 360-degree customized viewing. And features like silent slide window adjustment, 7-second setup, and no shine, no flap fabric. The Double Bull Matrix 360. See without being seen.
Introducing the Martin Bengal, the hottest bow for 2007. At only $399, you get more features than with most $800 bows. CNC machined risers and cams, all metal limb mount system, fully laminated Coreflex limbs, speed bearings, and the highest quality BCY bowstrings, made in the USA. From the company that invented single cam systems, vibration dampening, and the first fall-away arrow rest, Martin Archery.
It doesn't matter if it's spring or fall. Anytime it starts getting close to a return hunt with Reg Quali of Elaine Lake Outfitters in Saskatchewan, I start getting a case of the butterflies. For me, the hunt is not just about killing, but rather enjoying being totally immersed in a part of our world that goes totally unnoticed by so many people.
When you're a nature junkie, I don't believe there is any better place to firsthand experience all of the facets of nature quite like at Elaine Lake Outfitters. I have spent more than a decade hunting the region known as the Thunder Hills and have come to learn that in any situation in the far north, there are a series of challenges that you learn to deal with in order to reach your goal. I've learned while hunting the huge bears that Reg Qualley has, if the spring rains have been plentiful, the rebirth and acceleration of the flora comes back to life in a hurry. But then, so do the bugs. But that's a hardship that I gladly endure, just to be able to have a chance at taking a bear that could be the bear of my lifetime. The black bears in Reg's area over the years have provided me with tons of one-of-a-kind encounters that I consider myself fortunate to have just been able to witness firsthand, and at times at extremely close ranges. I've always counted it a blessing to be in close proximity to the bears, even if it's a bear smaller than I'm looking to pull my bow back on. Hunting whitetails, on the other hand, is a different story and comes with its own set of challenges. While with the bears, the bugs can be utterly ruthless. Deer season arrives with Old Man Winter in tow, and the Canadian winters will not only test your mettle, but your resolve as well. When the temperature dips below zero and the snow is slamming you right in the face, you have to have your mental game in order if you're going to wait one of these big boys out. For us, it's a 10-hour day in the tree stand or blind. And as cliche as it may sound, the truth is, you can't kill them on the couch. So when the Wild Extremes crew rolls in to hunt at Elaine Lake Outfitters, it's definitely work intensive. My deer hunt started last year on Thanksgiving Day. We had listened to the predicted forecast, and even though it wasn't the best conditions for deer movement, we climbed into the tree anyway, pulled on a double set of face masks, and started grinding out the hours. Remember, if you're hunting a good area, every hour in the tree or blind is one more hour closer to putting a good one on the ground.
You know, they say I've heard it said before that it's too cold to snow. Well, I'd like to know what that temperature is, because it is 10 below zero when we got in the tree, and you can look at it slamming. I mean, this is a winter storm, and the downside to this, usually deer lay up and stuff like this. And we can sit here a long time without seeing a deer. But on the upside, this is the rut, so we got to believe that the bucks are going to be moving.
I had hoped that the weather would break and allow deer to start moving, but instead the intensity of the storm increased. By the end of the day, my prediction of no deer movement proved to be correct, but that just meant I was one day closer to having a good one within bow range of my tree.
Well, here's a tip. When you're hunting severe weather like this, and this is severe, it's way below zero. It was 10 below zero this morning. And I think the weather said it's supposed to drop to 20 tonight, and it's been dropping, but I always carry an extra pair of gloves. And you can see my release got wet, and it's froze solid. It won't even open. So I go for the spare set of gloves, and I've got a duplicate release that's been dry. It works. We'll dry this one out by the fire tonight. We're back rocking and rolling on a big old buck.
From the creators of Dead Downwind.
Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. Shampoo and conditioner, body lotion, hair gel, body wash, tinted lip balm, tinted moisturizer, antiperspirant. For more information, log on to deaddownwind.com. Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter.
Tight Point presents the dangerous curves of the Shuttle T-Lock Broadhead. Shuttle T-Lock Broadheads fly perfect, cut larger holes, and penetrate deeper. T-Lock technology provides guaranteed blade retention. Create your success. Hunt with the best with the Shuttle T-Lock Broadheads. Shuttle T-Lock flies unbelievable, puts them down in short order. Shuttle T-Lock Broadheads from Tight Point, the big game broadhead.
This segment of Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes is being brought to you by Tight Point Broadheads. Now you're hunting with the very best. And by Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. We had survived the storm the day before, and with the conditions we had today, I was confident we would see deer movement.
Well, here we are at Lynn Lake Outfitters. Maybe we'll get something to happen, and this morning yet. It's a phenomenal deer sign in here, and we just have to hope we get a break at a good buck today. So we're going to grind it out and see what happens.
Once a storm breaks, the deer are immediately on their feet and moving. And not only that, but this was the end of November, and mature bucks should be on their feet trolling for does. After only an hour in the tree, we had our first buck of the hunt. Now, while he wasn't in the age group I was hoping to get a crack at, it was still encouraging to see that the bucks were indeed on their feet and cruising for does. Just being at close range with this buck made me forget about all of the hardships endured on our Thanksgiving Day hunt.
Wasn't quite big enough. There goes wolves right there.
How incredible was this? Not only were the deer moving, but also one of the best deer hunters of the far north. This pair of wolves were heading directly into our setup.
That gray wolf is 15 yards from our tree.
In Saskatchewan, if you have a trapping lease, you can legally take wolves. But at this time, there is no hunting season for them. So we just enjoyed a one-of-a-kind encounter at very close range. The wolves had their noses to the ground, doing their best to pick up some fresh scent that would make them aware of any deer in the near vicinity. The young buck that had passed our stand earlier didn't know just how lucky he actually was. The wolves stopped just short of the trail he had used 30 minutes before. I guess this was a great example of how much luck does come into play during the successful outcome of any hunt, wolves included. The wolves had only been gone an hour when we saw the deer we had been enduring all of the cold for, and he was walking right into the funnel that we were hanging out in. Now, while the temperatures today weren't below zero, they were still in the single digits, and when it's extremely cold in the north, the dry air allows sound to travel quick and at longer distances than in places where humidity is a factor. So I knew I would have to have my bow drawn back before the buck broke out of the brush. I also knew that this was dangerous because in this extreme cold, I wouldn't be able to hold my bow at full draw as long as I can when I'm warm. The buck just stood, never giving me the shot I wanted, so I had to let down to conserve energy. And then, of course, almost immediately, he presented me with a perfect broadside shot. Even though I knew it wouldn't work, it was one of those situations you had nothing to lose. So once again, I came to full draw with the buck beneath my tree. I guess you could say that this buck really wanted to rub it in. I had missed this great deer just a couple minutes before, and here he came again, still looking for a hot doe. Here walked an extremely lucky buck. He was just an hour late coming nose to nose with a pair of hungry wolves, and I had just given him a shave with a Tight Point broadhead.
The only upside for me on this hunt was that this buck, if he continued being lucky with the wolves, would be just that much larger next fall.
We just plain missed a great buck. You sit out here in this cold, cold weather, and you get that chance. Man, I'm sick. And I don't know what to say, I just missed.
Hey, thanks for hanging out and hunting with us today here at Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes. Remember, once you decide to take on those western birds, to be successful in some cases, it's gonna take some boot leather. In my opinion, there is no other factor that A, either limits your ability in the field, or B, contributes to the successful outcome of a hunt, like your physical conditioning or lack thereof. The better your physical conditioning is, the more hardcore you can be when faced with extreme challenges. And for all of you whitetail fanatics, it's not only your physical strength that can make a difference, but your cardiovascular conditioning as well. To endure sitting long hours in a tree stand or a blind, it directly relates to how good your circulatory system is. Why don't everybody out there make a promise to yourself that this year you're going to get into the gym and get in shape, and I promise you will get more slamming done. And while you're at the gym, don't forget to spend some time on the treadmill or stationary bike. Just a thought. I'll see all of you right here again next time, where the slamming will definitely continue.
Dead Downwind's Wild Extremes has been brought to you by Dead Downwind. At Dead Downwind, 99% just isn't good enough. Martin Archery, making the most accurate bows for over 50 years. Double Bull Archery, home of the Dark Archer. Tight Point Broadheads, hunt with the best. And Huntress, scent prevention formulated for the female hunter. And also by these other great companies: Kicking Bear One-on-One, Mossback Game Calls, Copper John, Doinker Stabilizers, Lone Wolf Tree Stands, Women Hunters, and Chateau Berdin.
Got us a monster.
This has been a Wild Serenade production.